Hey everybody. So after 3 weeks, not 4 weeks this time, my Lathed design pre-orders finally arrived. So it's the Quantum Colliders version 4, I believe, and the Pawnder in titanium, which comes with a resin Pawnder as well. So I've already opened these. This isn't an unboxing, but I've just put everything back in their boxes because, you know, they do their own 3D printed boxes. And I think it's quite nice to show everything that you get. So once again, you get some little instructions, which I have to say, I really think these are a really good idea to include. You know, it's just a little piece of paper. Shows how to sort of size it with your hand, and a couple of tricks that you can do. So, you know, I don't think any other Begleri maker does this. And I just think it's just shows a bit more care. And, you know, some people are beginners, you know, so this might be their first set. So I think that's always nice to include. Came with a little free PVC patch, which is nice. So it's their I think it's Daisy, is it? Daisy the unicorn or something. Always appreciate those. I do like patches for my bags. So here we go. So the packaging has changed this time. I really like that hexagonal kind of pattern. Really do like that. But overall, I'd say I prefer the previous packaging, which were like, especially for the colliders, because they were like round. I thought they were really sweet with magnets in, but I don't know, maybe they were more costly to produce and this is more cost effective. So they've got a nice little slidey lid this time. Now, obviously, as I said, I've opened these already. They do come with spare paracord, but of course I had to put it on glow paracord, and it came that I've never taken that out, so it's a little nestle bit in there. So you've got little compartments for each bead in there, which I love. You know, the attention to detail is really nice, and as far as I know, it always has been in my experience with Lathed design. So I just went for raw this time. Or machined, I guess as you call it. I'm really quite taken by machined titanium at the moment, so yeah, no question I was going to get raw, but they offered quite a few at pre-order. So what happened was you just pre-ordered them, and then later on when they're ready, they give you a choice of what design or, you know, finish you want, basically. So you don't know what finish you're going to get until they're kind of like ready and done. But you have to choose like a first choice and then a second choice, just in case they run out of stock. And I'll go into that a little bit later, because it's the first time I've pre-ordered from them. Like usual with the Quantum Colliders, you just have a little blob that you melt on the ends, and as I've found with my previous sets, and I've gone into it in my Begleri collection video, they don't come off. It's a good system, and you could always reinforce them by just putting a layer of glue around them as well. Not to stick them in, you know, put a layer of glue around, let it dry, just to increase the surface area of the blob, I guess. Not like, I don't mean stick them in, that would be awful, and wouldn't work. So yeah, it's a lovely set. So let's just get the previous version 3, I believe. I think that's what they're called. I'm getting sort of confused with my versions. So these are both the same version, just different finishes. So this is on glow cord as well. These are both on 550 paracord, but this is on 45 or 3mm or whatever it's called. So these, I think, are slightly smaller. Yes, they are. I believe they are. The shape has changed, so I would say they've brought in the angles of the cup here, the width of the cup, definitely brought it in slimmer here, and also these ridges, so ridged pieces, I'd say they are more defined and less rounded this time, if that makes any sense. I'm just looking visually. I can't remember what they said on their post. They're, if you look on Instagram, they've got a kind of breakdown, I think. But yeah, these are definitely, I guess they look edgier. But what I have found, and I can't demonstrate because I'm terrible at them. I'm terrible with getting, you know, this is supposed to get in the cup. But what I have found is that I'm not going to be able to do it. It's more likely to sit in the cup because I love this design. If you get it like that, you get it like that. If it catches just on one of those ridges, it's still a win. You don't have to get it solid in the cup. Obviously, you're more skilled and amazing if you can. Even better if you can get it like that. But, you know, I think because those ridges are slimmer, you've got more space here to catch that rim in the cup, and I think, yeah, it is an improvement, but not to say that, you know, these are any harder. I still find it hard anyway. I'm terrible at it. You need to go on Instagram, go on their Instagram and see their players using these. But yeah, it's a lovely design. I was a bit worried about the cup being a little bit bigger. I think it is a bit bigger. So hard to tell. It's very subtle, I think, this time. I think it is slightly wider. But I thought, is it going to be a bit too big? But no, I think just the changes have been very subtle. But yeah, I love them all, to be honest. But I'm really pleased to get them in raw tie as well. So yeah, I tend to use more traditional Begleri. And I think these are still quite lightweight. Let's have a look. Yeah, a little bit on the lightweight side. So about 17, 18 grams. Not too lightweight. Let's just compare them to previous set, 17 grams. Obviously, I've got the cord on as well, so it's going to make a difference. But yeah, they're on the lighter side of things, and obviously the shape is going to make quite a difference. So you've got, you know, they're asymmetrical, and you haven't got like a solid bead. You've got quite a wide shape here, and then a narrow shape here. But I need to practice more with them. Like I said, people do some really amazing stuff with these, and yeah, I'm really pleased with these. And I love just the simplicity of the raw titanium. And it will just get better and better with use, I think. It will start looking really nice. Whereas I think the only problem with the anodized sets is you will start losing some of that beautiful colour. But I have to say, some of their anodized patterns and things like that, they're the best that I've seen for knuckle rollers and Begleri. Absolute best. We've got it down to a fine art, I think. So moving on to the Pawnder. So again, it's another little slidey lid there. I love the orange and the orange and the green thing. Now, obviously, I have opened these before, as I've been using it. The titanium one was wrapped up in tissue paper very carefully so that you don't get any scratches from the plastic around there, which is very well done. So I love how these are made. So you've got little rests there for them to sit in nicely. It's just the attention to detail which I love, in addition to the products. But yeah, so this is a glow resin Pawnder, so I've already got a couple of Pawnders, and I'm dropping everything on the floor today. Clumsy day for me today. So I've already got another glow one and then a non-glow resin. I've always liked the Pawnder shape and design. Again, it's asymmetrical. But but I think I've mentioned it on a video before when I got this one. The fact that the grip is a little bit longer before the knob parts is better for me personally. So again, like, I'm not going to go too far into the resin ones, but there is a mould line. This one has got some quite sharp bits on here, which I'm going to have to do something about, especially there. But, you know, I've experienced making moulds for ceramics, so mould lines are a fact, and it just depends on how well they're finished, really. This one actually is probably my best one in terms of how it's been finished, so I just bought this separately a long time ago. They've done a lot of work to get rid of those lines, but unfortunately not on this one, the new one. Yeah, this one had some mould lines that I could feel, but this one's the best one. I had another one as well, but I gave that to a friend, another glow one. So I love the design. I went for the monochrome anodized finish this time. I was tempted to go raw again, and I'll tell you why I didn't in a short amount of time when I talk about the pre-order, the whole pre-order thing. But anyway, to talk about the Pawnder as it is, I freaking love this. The titanium, let's have a way. Stand these up as well, because that's the nice thing, you can just stand them up. They are like a pawn on a chess table, which is great. So yeah, it's about 39 grams. Now that is, as far as I'm concerned, as where knuckle rollers are concerned, that's in a good place for in terms of weight. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. Getting used to the asymmetry of it is a little bit difficult, and I have slowly been getting more used to it. I think I tend to just sort of catch my fingers a bit, especially my middle finger here, when I really want it down here, but I seem to catch it there. But I think with more practice I may be able to get past that. But yeah, the more I use it, just the easier it gets, and it's just absolutely beautiful to use. I mean, and look at it as well, that's just stunning, that monochrome. It's not my first monochrome piece from them. I do have another one, not a Pawnder. In fact, I'll get it. It's just here. So this is, oh, I can't remember what this is called. It's one of their rollers, but it's a mini design, and I don't get along with the mini designs very well. I would much prefer if they did this in a full size. So this is a glow resin. I get along with the full size much better than the mini. But yeah, so this is the, you know, another monochrome piece that I have. And here we go, there's just some of the other rollers as well. Can't remember what that one's called, it's terrible, isn't it? But I don't really use these too much. They are too small for me. I keep them for the collection, but they're just, yeah, too small. This is a glow mini, so I've got it to obviously match this Pawnder. And this one I got originally when I got this one, I think. But anyway, I've got way too many now. But anyway, going back to this. Yeah, the weight, the shape, like I said, I'm clumsy today. I keep dropping things, but like I said, I'm still getting used to this asymmetry. It's, yeah, I don't know, it's something about it. I think it's that longer grip. Once I get used to this wider, flatter end, I think I'll have a better time with it. The only thing I'm really struggling with is rolls. So rolling it over my thumb, and I'm only going to drop it, but especially when I roll it back, because it's not symmetrical, I don't know, I think it's getting used to it. It feels weird. Doesn't seem to want to roll as well because you've got a flat edge. But I think with practice I could do it, and I think a better player could definitely do it. But yeah, they are really lovely. I'm so glad they did them in titanium at last. I was waiting for it, because even with the resin Pawnders, I did like them very much more than this design. Just feels a bit smoother to me. These ridges don't feel as rough or hot spotty, I guess, as the ridges on these, because yeah, these aren't they don't feel the smoothest. When you sort of feel across there, all those ridges, they're not exactly pleasant. A bit better on the full size ones, because I don't really come into contact with those ends as much, but could be a me problem. So yeah, I wish them every success with these, because they're a really unique design. Asymmetrical designs are not very common with knuckle rollers, and I think it's quite nice to have at least one in the collection, and I would highly recommend the titanium ones and the resin ones, to be honest, from Lathed Design. Also, I think their prices are quite reasonable. So the titanium, off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. I'll put it down in the description, the prices for everything, but they make the resin ones in-house, and I think what they charge is probably not enough for something that's basically handmade. Yes, they're poured in moulds, but you know, you're paying for the skill and the knowledge and also the finishing on them, and the work and time involved. So I actually think these are really, really worth it, worth the money. If you just want to give them a try, then yeah, go for the resin ones, because they're awesome. Just another thing as well, is this is the only other thing I've got from Lathed Design, which is the quantum singularities. They're 3D printed, and these are really great. I love these. So they're cheap. Make quite a nice sound as well, actually. But if you're not sure about the quantum colliders, then you know, you could just get a set of these. You can get them blind bag, or you can choose your colours. Yeah, I like these. I think they're hugely worth it. So yeah, that's, you know, the new releases from Lathed Design. So the Pawnder in titanium and the version 4 of the quantum colliders. Going back to the pre-order, I did have some things, just some experiences that I wanted to share that, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's because I've not pre-ordered from them before, I'm not used to how they do things, but I was okay with not knowing what the finishes could be when I pre-ordered. You know, there was, in my head, there was no way I was not going to pre-order both of these. But it did say on the listing that you could choose whatever finish you wanted, which is fine. Now, I didn't expect them to just you know, ask you what do you want and they do it for single sets, because that's not cost effective. They did it as I expected they do. They did a couple of different finishes and then basically emailed you to decide which ones you wanted. So there was some delay. Again, that wasn't an issue for me. You know, these are independent makers. Like, you know, they've got their own lives to live as well. But I think about a week before they sent out the emails asking the pre-order buyers what finishes they wanted, they sold a lot of the raw Pawnders. Maybe not a lot, but a couple. And I remember my friend and I, because we'd both been in the pre-order for the Pawnders, we were a little bit concerned because we both wanted raw. And information about when the emails were going to come out were a little bit all over the place. There was no certainty on it, and we were a little bit concerned that they would sell out of the raw before we even got to choose what we wanted for our pre-order. And when the emails came saying, you know, you have your first choice and your second choice, so a week after they'd sold some raw ones, I remember just we spoke about it and we weren't entirely happy with, you know, them selling a bunch before they'd got the pre-orders finalised and people had chosen what they wanted, because my friend really wanted the raw. I wanted the raw, and my backup choice was a monochrome initially, but between us I sort of just thought, well, I do like the monochrome and I do already have a monochrome, so I will go for the monochrome as my first choice for this, and then raw as my second choice, because if nothing else, I didn't want to be in the way of my friend getting the raw. It wasn't any kind of sacrifice on my part, you know. I'm not saying that, you know. I liked it either, but it just kind of put us in that position where I didn't want her to miss out between us. So I just thought, you know, I like the monochrome, looks really nice. I'll go for that. First choice on that, and then first choice on the raw for the quantum colliders, because I knew I definitely wanted raw for these. So I think it just didn't sit very well with either of us. We kept it to ourselves. That they'd sold a bunch before they put the emails out. Now it could have been that they'd made so much stock, they'd made enough stock for everybody, but that wasn't known to us, and still isn't. So there is a fidget maker out there who also sells stock to people when or new stock to people when he hasn't finished pre-orders, and I'm not going to name that person, but you know, again, that's the kind of practices that doesn't always sit right. And I love their products and stuff, but I think on this occasion it was just something that we were a little bit worried about. We thought we were going to miss out on the finishes that we wanted because they possibly already sold them to people who weren't in the pre-order. I mean, as it turned out, I got what I wanted. Probably if I had put raw in my first choice, I probably would have got it. And I'm in no way disappointed that I got the monochrome. I love the monochrome. That was my choice to do that as my first choice, and the raw as second. But yeah, I just found it a bit odd, that's all. And like I said, maybe they actually had enough raw tie to satisfy everybody if everybody wanted raw. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know what stock they had. Just my observations on my experience, basically, and my friend's experience. So, yeah, love them. Really impressed with this. So glad they've finally done one. And love the quantum colliders. I've just got to get better with them. So, yeah. I wish them all the best, and I'll continue to be on the lookout for more things they release. Like I said, they do some of the best finishes in the business, and they're also very affordable. I think their prices are a bit too low, to be honest, for an independent maker. So I think if they raised them a little bit, I don't think many people would complain, because they just seem so reasonable. So anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good day.